Have you ever wondered what makes the world move? For over a century, a big part of the answer has come from one city, Detroit. This isn't just a story about machines. It's about the heartbeat of the Motor City, a story of grit, genius, and a relentless drive to innovate that has shaped how we live, work, and dream. From the first sputtering engines that echoed through its streets to the silent hum of electric vehicles poised to redefine our future, Detroit's legacy is written in steel, horsepower, and now, in watts and gigabytes. This is the epic tale of the Detroit engine, the powerhouse that put the world on wheels and continues to drive us forward. Let's fire up the engine and take a ride through history. Our journey begins in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a time of incredible change. Picture a world of horses and buggies, where the idea of personal, motorized transport was pure science fiction for most. But in workshops and garages across Detroit, a revolution was brewing. Visionaries like Ransom E. Olds and the legendary Henry Ford were not just tinkering with gears and pistons, they were forging the foundation of a new industrial age. Olds, with his Olds Motor Works, was one of the first to mass-produce automobiles, creating the curved-dash Oldsmobile. But it was Henry Ford who truly cracked the code. His development of the internal combustion engine was relentless, but his true genius lay in the creation of the moving assembly line. This wasn't just a faster way to build cars. It was a fundamental shift in manufacturing that made the automobile accessible to the average family. The Model T, powered by a simple but reliable four-cylinder engine, wasn't just a car. It was a symbol of freedom and opportunity. These early engines were the sparks that ignited a fire, establishing Detroit as the undisputed capital of the automotive world, a powerhouse built on innovation and the American dream. As the calendar flipped into the 1920s, Detroit didn't just grow, it exploded. The Roaring Twenties saw the city's automotive industry hit overdrive. The seeds planted by Ford and Olds blossomed into a sprawling forest of iconic brands. General Motors, under the strategic leadership of Alfred P. Sloan, introduced the concept of a car for every person purpose, creating a ladder of brands from Chevrolet to Cadillac. Walter Chrysler, after revitalizing other companies, founded his own in 1925, adding another major player to the game. This era was defined by intense competition and breathtaking innovation. Engines became more powerful, designs more stylish, and features more luxurious. The car was no longer just a utility. It was a statement, a reflection of personal style and status. The cultural impact was immense. Suburbs expanded, road trips became a national pastime, and a new sense of mobility transformed American society. Detroit was the epicenter of it all, a boomtown where fortunes were made and the rhythm of the nation was dictated by the hum of its assembly lines. Even the Great Depression, which hit the industry hard, couldn't extinguish the fire. It forced automakers to become leaner and more innovative, setting the stage for the next chapter in Detroit's incredible story. Just as the industry was finding its footing again after the Depression, the world was plunged into its darkest conflict, World War II. The call to arms reached Detroit, and the city responded on a scale the world had never seen. President Franklin D. Roosevelt called upon the nation to become the arsenal of democracy, and Detroit became its beating heart. In an astonishing display of industrial might and adaptability, civilian car production ground to a halt. The sprawling auto factories were retooled almost overnight. Instead of family sedans, they began churning out the engines of war. Ford's massive Willow Run plant, built from scratch, produced B-24 Liberator bombers at a staggering rate of 1 per hour. Packard, known for its luxury cars, masterfully built the legendary Rolls-Royce Merlin engines that powered the P-51 Mustang and Spitfire fighter planes. Chrysler built the engines for the M4 Sherman tanks that rumbled across Europe, while GM's divisions produced everything from aircraft engines to naval diesel engines for submarines and landing craft. This monumental effort not only helped win the war but also cemented Detroit's global reputation. It was proof that the city's engineering prowess and manufacturing capacity were a national strategic asset, capable of meeting any challenge with unparalleled force and ingenuity. When the war ended, Detroit's mighty industrial engine didn't just return to making cars. It roared back to life, ushering in an era of unprecedented prosperity. The post-war boom was on, and America was ready to drive. Soldiers returned home, families moved to the suburbs, and a new car in the driveway was the ultimate symbol of success. At the heart of this automotive renaissance was a new king, the V8 engine. While not a new invention, it was perfected and popularized by Detroit in the 1950s. Cadillac and Oldsmobile led the way with their powerful new overhead valve V8s, and soon, every major brand had one. This kicked off the legendary horsepower race. The numbers just kept climbing. 200, 300, even 400 horsepower. The V8 wasn't just about speed. Its deep, rumbling exhaust note was the soundtrack of American freedom. This obsession with power culminated in the 1960s with the rise of the muscle car. Cars like the Pontiac GTO, the Ford Mustang, and the Dodge Charger became cultural icons, affordable machines that brought dragster performance to Main Street. Detroit's engines were more than just mechanical components. They were expressions of optimism, power, and the boundless possibilities of post-war America. It was a golden age of chrome and cubic inches, an era where Detroit's engineering was celebrated on streets and racetracks around the world. But no golden age lasts forever. The 1970s brought a series of powerful storms that shook the Motor City to its core. The decade began with new government regulations for safety and emissions, which added complexity and cost to engineering. Then came the real body blow, the 1973 oil crisis. An embargo by OPEC nations sent gas prices soaring and led to long lines at the pump. Suddenly, the gas-guzzling V8s that had been Detroit's pride and joy became a liability. At the same time, consumers were discovering smaller, more fuel-efficient cars from Japan and Europe. These foreign competitors offered quality and economy that caught the American giants off guard. It was a painful period of reckoning for Detroit. The industry had to adapt or face extinction. This forced a massive, though often difficult, transformation. Engineers went to work developing new technologies. The carburetor, a staple for decades, began to be replaced by more precise electronic fuel injection. Onboard computers, or engine control units, were introduced to manage performance and emissions. Smaller, more efficient 4- and 6-cylinder engines became a priority. It was a tumultuous time of factory closures and economic hardship, but it also showcased the industry's underlying resilience. Detroit was learning, adapting, and retooling for a new reality, laying the groundwork for the technological innovations that would define the decades to come. As Detroit moved into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the spirit of innovation kicked into high gear once again. The lessons learned from the crises of the 70s led to a renaissance in internal combustion engine technology. Engineers found clever new ways to squeeze more power and efficiency out of every drop of fuel. Turbocharging and supercharging, once reserved for high-performance cars, became commonplace, allowing smaller engines to produce the power of larger ones. Direct injection systems sprayed fuel straight into the cylinder for a more efficient burn. Technologies like variable valve timing optimized engine performance across different speeds. The modern gasoline engine became a marvel of engineering, cleaner and more powerful than ever before. But even as they perfected the old, Detroit's visionaries were looking toward a radical new future. A silent revolution was beginning. The looming challenges of climate change and a finite supply of fossil fuels spurred a massive pivot towards electrification. General Motors made waves with its EV1 in the 90s, an early but important step. Now, that early research has exploded. Detroit is a leader in this new electric era. The Big Three are investing billions, designing groundbreaking electric vehicles like the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the GMC Hummer EV, and the Cadillac Lyriq. They're not just participating in the EV transition, they are actively driving it, determined to lead the world into a new age of mobility. Powering this electric revolution is a technology that is just as critical as the engine itself, the battery. The shift to EVs has turned Detroit into a hub for advanced battery research and manufacturing. The journey has been incredible. Think back to the early lead-acid batteries. They were heavy, had limited range, and took forever to charge. The real game-changer was the arrival of lithium-ion technology. These batteries are lighter, more energy-dense, and can be recharged much faster, making long-range electric vehicles a practical reality. But Detroit isn't stopping there. The race is on to create the next generation of energy storage. Billions are being poured into research for solid-state batteries, which promise to be even safer, charge faster, and hold more energy than current lithium-ion packs. To support this massive shift, gigafactories, enormous battery production plants, are being built across the region, creating thousands of new jobs and securing America's role in the EV supply chain. It's a fundamental change, moving from oil wells and refineries to mineral sourcing and advanced chemical engineering. Detroit is once again at the forefront, mastering the science of battery technology to ensure that the future of mobility is not only electric but also powered by American innovation. Looking to the future, Detroit's vision for mobility extends far beyond the engine block or the battery pack. The city is once again a hotbed of cutting-edge engineering, tackling the biggest challenges in transportation. Sustainability is at the core of this new vision. Automakers are exploring the entire life cycle of a vehicle, from using recycled and plant-based materials in interiors to designing cars that are easier to disassemble and recycle at the end of their life. The quest for efficiency has led to incredible advancements in lightweight materials. Steel is being strategically replaced with high-strength aluminum alloys, carbon fiber composites, and other advanced materials that reduce a vehicle's weight, which improves both the fuel economy of gas cars and the range of EVs. And perhaps the most profound shift is the development of autonomous driving technologies. Detroit's engineers are creating the complex web of sensors, cameras, radar, and artificial intelligence that will allow cars to drive themselves, promising a future with fewer accidents and less traffic congestion. This is all part of a larger push toward an interconnected vehicle ecosystem, where cars communicate with each other and with city infrastructure to create a safer, cleaner, and more efficient transportation network. It's a future that redefines what a car is, transforming it from a simple mode of transport into a smart, connected device on wheels. From the first chugging engine in a dusty workshop to the silent, powerful electric motors of today, the story of the Detroit engine is the story of modern mobility. It's a legacy of relentless innovation, of turning bold ideas into a reality that changed the world. This city put America on wheels, became the arsenal of democracy, weathered economic storms, and has now pivoted to lead the electric and autonomous revolution. Detroit's history is not just about the past. It's a living, breathing testament to the power of adaptation and the enduring spirit of American ingenuity. The heartbeat of the Motor City, once measured in horsepower and RPMs, is now measured in kilowatts and data streams. But the core mission remains the same: to build the future of how we move. The road ahead is new, but the driver is familiar. Detroit is still in the driver's seat, steering us all toward a smarter, cleaner, and more connected tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through automotive history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories of innovation.